center camera. Ask him what camera I'm on. Hi, welcome everyone to the Avalon Theater in what is actually a historic evening in the somewhere in the annals of Easton history and world history. They should be writing this down because if it's anything like the historical 1918 pandemic, we are in a very special night tonight. It's been a slow process to get back here. I knew the day was coming that we would be back here. I didn't know when it was going to be. And tonight happens to be the night. I rode my bike up to work and actually got excited because as we've discovered, the Avalon staff through this whole process, and it's kind of been a good motto for us over the last month and a half or so, is anytime you do something brand new, it is going to be hard. And that happened with the Plein Air Festival. It's happening with our holiday play that we're planning. It's happening with these concerts that are going on. So we do have an audience in here tonight. What we're doing is checking out to see how it feels, what protocols we need to take into consideration as we start to open up the theater. I want to welcome all you guys and thank you for coming. Do you feel like you're at a concert, man? Keep your voices down. We have to, don't project too much now. We don't want to. So yeah, that's going to be weird. You know, cheering behind a mask, all that stuff is all brand new. And being separated, I mean, how many times have you been at a concert where, you know, you think you've always hated crowds, but actually, like, that's what that's what everybody wants back. You know, they're putting on fake crowds in the NBA basketball games, and you know, they pump in terrible sounding audience in the Major League Baseball games. So it's really a testament to you guys. Thank you so much for coming out again. We're gonna start the show here. It's a brand new show that we've started here at the Avalon. But first I wanna let everybody know, we are starting this out very slow. We know that we're allowed to have 100 people in the building per the governor's orders as of last Friday. However, again, this is brand new. We want to just take it slow and be safe and figure out exactly how it is supposed to run as most all the things that we try to do at the Avalon. How many can I see right now? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people plus tech. So there's 11 people in the room right now, plus me, just 12, and then 14 with the 2 talent. Is my mask too high or something? No, you're good. Okay. Yes, Al's right. That is what slow actually means. We have 14 people in here right now with a capacity of 400 people. Sometimes we push it up to 430 or 440, don't tell anyone. Anyway, we're starting out slow, but we are going to be doing these shows every weekend. Right now, I know they're on Saturday nights. We're talking about Friday and Saturday nights, probably at a limited capacity at this time of 20 people. So please check online because we will start doing them as long as everything runs smoothly. And next week, I believe, is Pressing Strings is going to be here with 20 people in the room. So, but those tickets will be limited, so please hop online and get those if you want. Also, coming out into a concert right now is not for everyone. So we will be live streaming these on Facebook and YouTube in conjunction with putting them on live with the live audience. So again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Again, I think it's a historical evening in a small town in America. I want to welcome in the talent for tonight, our first show back since the pandemic started. Please welcome Max Fisher and Sam Pugh with the Max Fisher Live at the Avalon show. Thank you very much.
All right,
All right.
we're here. Welcome everybody to the Max Fisher Show live at the Avalon. Avalon is in Easton, Maryland, the best little town in Maryland by far. This amazing, amazing theater that has done so much for the arts on the Eastern Shore. This is the first episode. Let's see how we do. Hopefully there'll be a second one too. My first guest is musician, writer, lyricist, wonderful person, friend, collaborator, Sam Pugh. What's up, Sam?
What's up, man? And we got Max Fisher right here helping us out and
That's right.
hosting every week.
So I'd like to tell you a story of how we first kind of met and I started seeing what Sam does musically. So some of this you know, some of this you don't know. It'll be new for you. I first came to Easton about 8 years ago when I had the opportunity to play at this magnificent theater here with the Max Fisher Band. That was, years ago. And then I moved here 3 years ago, and I saw some posters of Sam around town, performing at different places here and at Victory Garden and other places. And I kind of looked at his photo, and I was like, yeah, he's probably not any good. Kind of has this, angelic face, this long hair. I wasn't into it. But I have been wrong many times, and I was definitely wrong about that one. So fast forward, our mutual friend, Jimmy McGuire, AKA Jimmy the Wise, and you'll see why he's wise in a moment. He calls me up and he's like, hey, Sam is playing with his band, Heartside, over down at Cult Classic. And I totally didn't want to go. I was tired, and I was like, what are the chances of this really being good? But, Jimmy being so wise, he talked me into it. I even drove. I went from I don't want to go, no way, I'm not going, and next thing I know, I'm driving. So we go, and I'm like, all right, well, let's get this over with. Come in. First thing I see is another mutual friend of ours, Jordan Stanley, drummer from Easton, who's a fantastic talent in his own right. So that kind of got me excited. And then I see Heartside, I hear Heartside, and I see Sam up on the microphone. And I was totally, completely blown away. Totally blown away. And I was like, this guy is a super talent. This guy is a rock star. And I have called it on a few people in the last 20 years, and I'm calling it on this guy right now. And I was just completely blown away and fell in love with his music, fell in love with his songs. Got to know him. Then we started doing some things musically, collaborating on a project as well, which we'll get to later, So anyway, without further ado, so tell us, you're from here. How was it growing up here?
Yeah, I'm from here. It's fantastic growing up here. As a kid, you live in Easton, you think, oh, there's not much to do. But fantastic friends, fantastic people. I was lucky enough to grow up with my whole family pretty much within a 30-minute radius. Huge family. Dad is one of 6. Mom was one of 7. Sorry, swap that. But phenomenal. I just got to be with family. I got to live on the water. I got to eat crabs every weekend in the summer. It's been fantastic. And I went to St. Peter and Paul High School, Catholic school, which was great. It was weird in the time, and now I look back on it. It was just phenomenal. It was, I had great teachers, also made some of the best friends, lifelong friends there, so couldn't be more grateful for that.
How did you get into music? How did that happen? When did you first figure out that, you wanted to play?
Yeah, so I used to always go to my aunt and uncle's house. They live in Royal Oak, and they live on a farm that was owned by a family named the Israels. Mm-hmm. And so Sandy Israel is the son of the owners of the farm, and he was my first guitar teacher, pretty much my entire just start in music and the love of music. My parents definitely just had it always playing in the house, but he was the first experience of playing. and he gave me my first guitar. He, gave me my first lessons. He's actually a banjo player. Most of the time, he used to play in a band called City Grass, which phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal bluegrass band. And they got to play Hardly Strictly Festival in San Francisco one time.
Okay.
And I remember he used to time himself, and he said that he was one of the fastest banjo players in the world. He would always say, I'm not one of the best, but I'm one of the fastest.
That's good.
And just phenomenal
I like
guy,
that.
incredible teacher.
I like
and I
that.
had, other teachers throughout time, a guy named Danny Hicks from St. Michael's.
But so
phenomenal.
one sec. So you started on guitar, is that correct?
Yeah.
That was your first instrument.
For
okay.
sure.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah, had a little bit of banjo lessons from Sandy. Sandy, if you're watching this, sorry I didn't keep up with it. But I can still play a little bit on there. A little bit of piano. Never put me behind a drum set. It's no good.
Okay. Okay.
But
Good
yeah,
to know.
it's been really fun, for sure.
Okay. And how did you start writing songs?
And I started writing songs. So I was playing guitar for a while, and then I joined a band with my friend Jordan Kellermeyer and other friends named Matt McCrary and Drew Graham. And I just played guitar for them, and it was called Where the Sky Breaks, and it was a great time. We were awful, like every first band needs to be.
Yeah. Yep.
To just learn some lessons, and it was it was rough. There's some videos. But so me and my friend Matt, who played drums in that band, actually started an acoustic project years ago called Call Me Mercy, when we just became good buddies, and I started playing guitar at his house, and we would just play together, and it naturally just led to songwriting, and finally turned into decent songwriting. As I said, you always start rough.
So around what age are you starting to write some quote
Yeah.
unquote decent songs?
Decent songs probably started late teens, like 19, 20,
Okay.
when they were decent and just got better with time,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
I think. I hope.
Yep. Okay. And what did you draw from? Like why did you start writing? Because I find that most writers feel like they need to write.
Yeah.
They've got to put it down on paper, they got to sing it, so.
Yeah, as far as living in Easton, it's been fantastic. Like, love the town, love the people. Home life was interesting. Both my parents were addicts, and so there was definitely a lot that I needed to say to vent about that. And I think that's definitely where a lot of the songs started.
That makes a lot of sense. Definitely. What kind of music did your father listen to? Did your mom listen to? Like, what were you listening to when you were growing up in the house?
Oh my gosh, man, everything. It's funny, my dad played drums growing up, and so it always shocked me that he was really into guitar bands. Like, if a song did not have a guitar solo in it, it was not playing.
Yeah, he was like, get this out. I'm not doing
Unless
this.
it was Jackson Brown.
I see. Okay.
And so I was raised on Jackson Brown, but a ton of Zeppelin, a ton of Hendrix, and just big guitar bands from the 60s and 70s,
Okay. So the millennials have a chance, right?
Yeah.
This is good.
They got
This
a
is
little
good.
chance.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I'm happy to hear that. All right. So, well, you want to play a song for us?
Yeah, I would love to.
What do you want to play?
So I'll play, speaking on what we just spoke of, I'll play a song that I wrote probably about 5 years ago now called Another Dinner Alone. And so this song is about when my father died years ago. I was 22, I believe, 29 now. They tore down the house that he lived in and that I grew up in about like 5 days after. So I was forced pretty much.
I'm sorry, 5 days after
After
his-
my dad passed.
he's passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was basically given the option and forced to clean out the house, pretty much anything that I wanted from there. So it brought up a lot of memories, man. And some of them not so good. Just about kind of growing up in a household where the parents were, had their demons and were addicted. But it made me realize that they still loved me and that, you know, every person kind of has some good and some bad, yin and yang for sure, and that it's always present, and just seeing like the beauty and the pain in things and how it's always there.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's hear it.
Sure. Another dinner alone. Locked yourself in the attic. Keep all your flaws to yourself. It didn't feel like a home. There was never any balance. Wouldn't trade it for anything else. Gonna tear down the house I grew up in. Ruin the last room that you saw. No, it's the last place that I like to live. A part of me will die with you in these walls. Part of me will die with you in these walls. Another dinner alone. Sat across the table, but your mind was always somewhere else. Was beyond your control. So how could I blame you? Got plenty of demons myself. It's gonna tear down the house I grew up in. Ruin the last room that you saw. The last place I like to live. A part of me will die with you in these walls. A part of me will die with you in these walls. I'm still afraid the disease that claimed you. Weren't strong enough. What does it say about me? 'Cause God, I looked up to you and gave all my love to you. And I relit the chaos if it would bring you back to me. They're gonna tear down the house I grew up in. Ruin the last room that you saw. No, it's the last place I like to live. A part of me will die with you in these walls. A part of me will die with you in these walls. A part of me will die with you in these walls. Another dinner alone. Woo!
That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Thanks.
I think I heard that song the night that I came out to see Heartside.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think I had that chorus stuck in my head when I was driving back home.
That's awesome, really.
And then the funny thing is, we talked that night, and I was like, "Hey, this band's great. You're great." And you're like, "Yeah, it's our last show. Band's over. Everything's over.
Yeah.
It's all totally over." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" So, what is the status of Heartside now?
Man, the status of Heartside is the status of everything in the world right now.
Okay.
No, I mean, we're still together. We're actually, I played pretty much with all the members of Heartside. So Heartside is myself, guitar and vocals, Robert Dunmeyer, who's guitar and vocals, Todd Kleppinger on bass and vocals, and then the man, the myth, the legend, Jordan Stanley on drums.
Yes.
And so I played music with each of them kind of like one-on-one or in a smaller group, and we're finally talking about getting together and playing as a band again, which is super exciting.
For me too, as a listener,
Cool. Yeah,
If you don't want to do it for yourselves, then do it for me, please.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah, just get one more show together.
Just one more.
Just one more, and then we just, then another, and then another, and then, you could just keep on saying that it's one more, but it'll be like 10, 12,
Yeah.
20, so.
Oh, always say one more.
Right, there you go. So what are you doing straight out of high school? What are you doing musically? How is that part of your life looking, musically speaking?
So right after high school,
Yeah,
went to Chesapeake College for a bit. As far as music goes, I was playing, that was the time, that band that I talked about, where the Sky Breaks was kind of finishing up. I joined a metal band.
oh my God, okay.
Hey, every musician
No, that's
does
awesome.
it once,
That's
you know what I
awesome.
mean?
I wish I saw that, yeah, okay.
No,
Continue.
but so I joined a metal band that was also, no offense, boys, we were rough.
Yeah.
I definitely did not make them any better. So when I joined this band, you're like, oh, you play guitar for the band. I did not. I played keyboard, like synth for them. And I probably I could play like Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yep.
And that was it. So I just played that over every song.
All right, well, that's all you need.
Fantastic.
That's all you need sometimes.
No, so it was phenomenal. So it was like the songwriting was there, and it was just, we were a big band. There were 7 members in it, and every member was super good by themselves. And I just thought that it never fully.
But collectively, what happened?
I just thought that it never fully clicked.
Okay.
But I think that everybody was phenomenal on their own, and there were times when we sounded incredible.
Right.
So we played Ram's Head live, though. It was kind of like a pay-to-play show. We had the most tickets sold. We played there. We headlined. It was phenomenal. Funny story about that. So I had a microKORG, which if you guys don't know, is just like a little synth, small-scale synth. And then I had one of those. It was my dad. My dad got it for me years before, and it was a little Casio keyboard. You know, the ones that have the songs programmed in that you can play.
Yes.
So we're playing at Ram's Head live, and there's hundreds of people in the crowd. And at the end of the song, I accidentally hit play. And it starts playing some ragtime, some ragtime song, and I was like, stop.
Right.
Also, the microKORG, so I didn't have a double keyboard stand. I just had it sitting on top of the Casio.
Right.
So I hit it off one time, and it fell into the crowd. And luckily, my friend Matt was standing there and caught it and handed it back to me. But I could have rocked somebody with
Right.
that one.
Literally. Right.
Truly, rock and roll, baby.
Right. It's true rock and roll there. That's pretty good.
Hey, it's what we do.
That's what we do. So what happens after the metal band?
Man, so after the metal band, I met a guy named Anthony Graves, who was the drummer for Heartside for a
Okay.
really long time. He was the drummer for the band that I started before that. So the acoustic project was kind of after that, and in between that, and it was Call Me Mercy. And that changed into just a full band. Jordan Kellermeyer from the first band came and played guitar. Matt was playing bass, and Anthony was on drums. And so Anthony really, shout out, dude. He changed my life. Like, he was like he was the first drummer that I played with that, I played with great musicians and great drummers before that, but the first one that was like, oh, we're fully in sync. Like,
Yeah.
you have the same influences as I do. You know what I'm thinking before I even think it, and he's just incredible. So we did that for a while, and that period of my songwriting, I kind of classify as just the parts were all really good, but the transitions were lacking. And I think that was fully me, and it's something that I kind of realized at a point was just like, oh man, just because these two riffs are in the same key doesn't mean I need to put them in the same song or like right back to back. Like, you have to figure out how every song kind of fits like a puzzle.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, big shout out to Anthony and to Jordan and Matt. I mean, that was just, that was like when we all finally, I think, really, really discovered songwriting and like the love of it that we all had. And it's, I would make kind of the groundwork for the song, but I mean, everybody played a part in the songwriting and the arrangements, which was super cool.
Yep.
Like, I love
So it was a
that
real
process.
collaboration in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that process of it. I mean, I like making something that's super bare bones and then having other people say, like, this note sucks, change this, I'm gonna put this line over here, we're gonna halftime this, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you want to play another song
Yeah.
from those days, maybe?
Ooh, if I have one from those days. Man, I haven't played those in forever. Huh. I don't know if I have. Okay. So I didn't really play this with the band. I played it with Matt, though, acoustic.
Okay. We got alternate tunings here.
We're just going back to Santa, baby, and putting a capo on.
All right.
Unless, do you just want to hold your finger here and be like, you and capo?
My finger's gonna get tired.
So this song is called Rebuild. So, you care if I talk about this really quick?
No.
So I wrote this song forever ago with Matt, and it's kind of just the story of like, I mean, it really was. This is one of the few songs where I just wrote like a story, and there wasn't any like truth behind it. It was more just like a person who comes to rule, but they're not confident in themselves, and wanting to make sure it's like ruling of a nation or something like that, and not being confident that they can make their people happy and provide.
Yep.
But so the coolest thing about this song is that years later, I recorded this with Shay Springer. Shout out to Shay Springer. If you guys don't know him, he has Sweetfoot Studios. He's the man with the plan, dude. He's so good. And so a buddy of mine named Ethan Barton was in grad school for journalism. And he wanted to write a piece on the songwriting process and the recording process.
Okay.
So he was like, hey, Shay, can we do a songwriting session in a day and really just a recording session? Like, we're gonna track, we're gonna record any other instruments that are on it, and we're just gonna mix it that day. And so we did this song. Come down now, the king and his men have fallen. They've lost the battle that will subsequently lose them the war. We can go home now to validate our victory. He'll pass the crown down. It'll make its way back to me, love. So on this part, we had these notes mimicked by a Celeste. Do you know those little pianos?
So how would
It's
that
kind
go?
of like a bell sound.
Okay.
And then it goes into the chorus. It's something like this. But what if I forgot forgot how to read. With an iron fist connected to my wrist, I turn out to be the same as those who once replaced me, and I fail those who embrace me. What if I can't? What if I can't rebuild now? Rise up from the ashes, show me your burdens, and together we'll set them ablaze. We can go home now, live once more in solace. I've got the match here. It can solve all of our problems. What if I forgot how to read? With an iron fist connected to my wrist, I turn out to be the same as those who once replaced me, and I fail those who embraced me. So what if I can't? What if I can't rebuild now? What if I can't rebuild now? Woo. Thanks.
Great job. Great job, Sam.
Dude, Shay sang, so that's on YouTube, I think, is Sam Pugh Rebuild, and Shay sang some awesome harmonies at the end of that song.
Okay.
Like,
Awesome.
super cool.
Awesome. Wow. So around what year is that?
That we tracked it or that I wrote
That you
it?
wrote it?
Geez. And then that was probably like 2011, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So what's the songwriting process like for you? So, for example, like, do you just kind of go for it? Do you have an idea beforehand? Do you just go when you feel inspired? Do you set some time where you're like, I'm going to write today, and that's what's going to happen? How do you do it?
Man, I try to do the set some time apart, and it never works.
Right.
It's definitely inspiration. So, let's see, I write most of the time. I'll just have lines that come in my head, so I'm constantly listening to music, like all the time.
Yep.
And with that, I constantly I'll hear a line that sticks out to me, and then just like, I won't even really think about it, and I'll just like put that melody kind of in my head, and it'll pop out kind of like after the song, and I'll be like, oh, like, let's change this around a little bit, let's change some notes, drag some notes out,
Yep.
change the lyrics, and that's usually how I'll get a line. A lot of the times, too, I'll listen to like instrumental music, a lot of post-rock and stuff like that. Hey, if you guys are watching this, shout out God is an Astronaut. They're huge, they won't see. But lines will hit me that way, big time.
Okay, when you say lines, do you mean like music lines, lyric lines?
Melody
both?
lines.
Melody lines.
Typically, and usually like a semi-clever lyric will
Okay.
happen with it. But
Okay.
a lot of the times that's how it happens. And then I guess instrumental parts usually come from wanting to match that, like
Yep.
find something that fits underneath, but also
Yep.
other times that part will come from just jamming and having fun. But it never if I'm just doing it, if I'm sitting down and trying to write, it won't come out. It's just if I'm like messing around and having fun at home and
Yeah,
playing.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who write that way. It's kind of like if you
Yeah.
have to take away, you have to look away from the star to see the light. You
Yep.
have to kind of back up a little bit and have something hit you and
For sure.
then start putting it together. So that's very cool. Have you had this feeling at the end of a song where you're like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted to say? Like, because for me, I always feel most of the time that I'm missing the mark. It's like, well, almost. Even if
Yeah.
I then like it, it's like, well, maybe. But have you ever felt like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted to write? This is exactly the melody. These are exactly the lyrics that like you said what you wanted to say.
Yeah, so that first song that I played is probably like the only time that's happened.
Fair
But
enough.
so
yeah.
that song, Another Dinner Alone, is that, it didn't happen overnight. I wrote that chorus probably like 6 years ago. I would say 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And like 2 years later, I wrote the verses. Like
Mhm.
it's something I would come back and be like, I'm gonna finish this song today, and it didn't work. It would never, ever work.
Right.
And then finally, like 2 years later, it clicked. And when I finished it, I just remember like, I never think this about my stuff either. I was like, wow, like this is exactly what I wanted to say, like
Yeah,
you said.
yeah.
I mean, it was probably the only time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Every other time it's like, oh, it's really good, but like it could be better.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
which is why I like collaborating so much.
Right.
Is
Right.
other people adding in that little spice that might make it, closer to perfect.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Do you ever play, when you go out and play, do you play other people's music too? Do you
Yeah,
play-
yeah, I definitely
Alright.
do covers. Yeah, I play Cult Classic a lot,
Yeah.
and Ken Island, fantastic plays. But yeah, I love doing covers, love doing, everybody always says that I kind of do my own spin on stuff.
Yeah.
So I always try and, spice it up, give it a little Sam Pugh.
So I heard a little Sam Pugh cover of a song that I would not expect him necessarily to play, and it's pretty different. I think you know the one that I'm talking about, Mr. Pugh.
I think I do.
Would you like to play it?
Sure, yeah, I'd
Okay.
love to.
All right.
You gonna sing harmonies?
Nope. Nope. I'm just gonna hang out. How about you not tell anybody what song it is and see if they can figure it out in the first verse?
All right, guys, whoever gets this first, Max is buying you a beer. Call up, ring once, hang up the phone to let you know I made it home. Me and you were part-time lovers. If she's with me, I'll blink the lights to let you know tonight's the night for me and you. We're part-time lovers. We are undercover passion on the run, chasing love up against the sun. We are strangers by day, lovers by night, feeling it so wrong, but feeling so right. What a good song, dude. If I'm with friends and we should meet, just pass me by, don't even speak. Say the words discreet. We're part-time lovers. And if there's some emergency, have a male friend reach out to me so she won't peek. Part-time lovers. We are undercover passion on the run, chasing love up against the sun. We are strangers by day, lovers by night, knowing it's so wrong, feeling so right. What a tune.
Let's call Stevie on that one. See if he can check it out. I bet you he'd love it.
All right, hey guys, what was the first comment that got that right? Because Max owes somebody a beer.
That is gorgeous and different.
Thanks.
Different from his version.
Thank you,
you know, and very stripped down, obviously acoustic, slower, but super, super cool.
Cool.
Very, very cool, man.
Thanks.
So what's your process in the studio? Do you like, if you're playing with a band, do you like everybody playing at once? You come in there and track individual, you know, instruments?
Individual, for sure. I mean, live tracking is great, but I think the times where I've gotten the best results have definitely been individual tracking, usually like a scratch guitar first, and then drums, rhythm section, drums, bass, guitars, vocals.
Yep.
And then just, once again, collaborating. I mean, I love working with producers. We have some unreleased stuff with Heartside now that we worked with a guy named Will Beasley. And Will just added some fantastic things to the songs. I'm excited to get them out. But I mean, it's like, I love that process. I feel like some people that I know just can be offended sometimes when somebody says, hey, why don't you do this chord instead or change this up? And I love it. It's so good. If the end result is better, I'm for it.
Yeah, yeah. And oftentimes it can be because you kind of get out of your own head,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure, you hear a song so many times, you're like, oh, it's perfect. And
Yeah.
then they're like, no, what if you just cut this in half and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Very cool, very cool. I've got a question here from the audience coming to me. What is Baby Caveman?
Baby Caveman. Hey, you don't want to make him angry, I'll tell you that.
You definitely don't.
But so Baby Caveman is, you know, Max, this beautiful, beautiful man sitting next to me, had a bunch of songs that he had written, and he graciously asked me to sing on them. And so me and Max have been working on just finishing some of those songs up, and they're turning out beautiful. It's very slightly country influenced, slightly classic rock influenced.
Yep.
And there's some killer players on there. I mean, just fantastic music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the tracks are coming out really well, but I think your voice is bringing the magic to the songs, you know, big time.
No, I mean, like, it's bringing a side of me out that I didn't know that I had. For
Most
sure.
definitely, most definitely. Yeah, so how has that experience for you? How's that been?
Terrible.
Terrible, right?
Hey, this guy, I don't know.
Right. Get him out
Can
of
you
here.
still see me? No, it's fantastic. I mean, so back to the collaborating thing again. It's just, you know, you're like, hey, when you sing this, try singing it this way.
Yeah.
Max is funny because Max, you know, most people are like, hey, why don't you make that a little bassier, put some twang on that? He's like, imagine you're in a bar and you're talking to a guy, you're John Wayne, right? You're talking in a bar, you're talking to a guy that doesn't want to hear you talk about something that you don't want to talk about. Now sing like that. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I think what we've been doing a lot with the way that I've been working with you as a vocalist is you don't really need to, you know how to sing.
Yeah.
You know, you got this amazing voice. So, but it's been about acting really more than anything else, about getting into character.
big time.
You know?
Yeah, no, it was shocking at first. And I was like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
But then, I mean, we've been doing the recordings at Jimmy, and our boy,
Jimmy the Wise, by the way.
Our-
Jimmy the Wise.
our boy Jimmy McGuire can definitely attest to, like, I picked it up like I started truly understanding what you meant, and it's like it opened the door for me, I think, to sing
Cool.
that style of stuff. So
Cool.
it's super cool.
It's been fun.
And I appreciate
it's
that
been
big
more
time.
than fun. It's been, for me, it's been amazing. Would you like to play a Baby Caveman song?
Oh, would I ever? All right, when I play this, if he gets out, don't give him any food, don't give him any drinks, put him back in his cage, that baby caveman.
If you forget lyrics, I'll help you
What's the first line?
out. He had a habit.
You want to sing it?
Nope.
We're going to make Max sing before this is
Oh,
over.
no.
He had a habit of courting disaster in a talent for narrow escapes. He always thought that if he learned to run faster, he'd outrun the demons in his head. Was told this. I was told this ever since I was a kid. Told that the things that I would want the world would forbid. I never knew him, but I bear his name in the blue eyes you're looking at. The sound of my voice and the lines on my face. There's just some things I can't erase. Don't know why he loved trouble. Did he seek it? Did it follow him? Maybe he had his reasons. You can never know. You can never know the heart of my old man. I'm on a train for what feels like days. I'm in a fog, I'm in a haze. There's a man sitting next to me.
He asks.
Do you know what it's like to be really free? Said, look out. Said, look out the window, and what do you see? There's nothing. At the end, this desert of snow-covered trees. Things get hard and I'm pushed against the walls of my own mind. I try to believe that I've got free will when I find myself in a bind. The sound of my voice and the lines on my face could be the start of something new. Try to search for reasons I can never tell. I can never tell the heart of this young man. Pray for me that I don't get undone by what came before. Pray for me that I don't get undone by what came before. Said I never knew him, but I bear his name in the blue eyes you're looking. Sound of my voice and the lines on my face. There's just some things you can't erase. I don't know why he loved trouble. Did he seek it? Did it follow him? Maybe he had his reasons. You never know. You can never know of my old man. Can this guy write a song or what?
It's really it's really an honor for me for you to sing that. You know, I mean, it's incredible. It really is incredible. So I had a lot of these songs hanging out for a while,
Yeah.
looking for a vocalist, and I didn't really feel like I was the right one for them. So you know, this worked out.
Honored to do it.
Yeah, thank you. So this really worked out. And yes, these songs bring something else out of you, you know?
Yeah, it's totally
A little
different, man.
bit
It
of a
feels great.
country tinge, a little bit of a folk thing, so
A little bit of a, guy talking at a bar to a
Right.
guy who doesn't want to listen to him. And I don't want to talk either. So, I don't know.
yeah. Things get interesting when we're doing vocals, definitely.
The
They
sound
get
of my
pretty
voice and the lines on my face, baby.
they get pretty eccentric. They get pretty eccentric for sure, you know? But yeah, it's amazing for me to hear that back.
Yeah. Thanks.
And really the way that I want it, the way that I love it. So
Cool.
that's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing a lot of Baby Caveman songs. So
Yeah. So let me ask you, man. So how long have you had some of these songs?
20 years, long time. Like Snip,
Since
we're
you
working
were a
on
baby
Snip.
caveman.
Like since I was a baby caveman. I'm actually not the baby caveman. That's a whole long story as to who the real baby caveman is, and I'm definitely not able to release that information right now. But maybe on another episode, if I get another episode.
Further down the rabbit hole.
Further down the rabbit hole, we could talk about the true baby caveman, but it's kind of like Twin Peaks. Like we got to get through a whole season, before we find out who the baby caveman is. But some of these songs have been around for a really long time, and it's kind of I put out this record, which is as a joke because nobody really knows who I am. It's called Greatest Hits. But now Greatest Hits is actually gonna be released as Baby Caveman Greater Hits, which is a lot of songs remixed, rearranged, but with Sam singing.
Cool.
But yeah, some of the songs are very old. That song I actually first wrote for a country artist in Texas named Charlie, probably about 5-6 years ago. But
Nice.
yeah, so and that song was written. It was kind of written on this experience that I had when I was in Russia. So when I was there one time, so it's kind of based on. So most of the lyrics were written on the train. So
wait, you were born in Russia, right?
yep. I was born in the former Soviet Union, which is
Cool.
is Russia.
So when did you come to the States?
Came here when I was very little, so I don't really have an accent. I mean, I can make accent if you want. I can deliver accent, but I don't really have one. So
That's how he gets Baby Caveman to stay in his cage that way.
yeah, Baby Caveman is a real person, by the way. So
Just stay in your cage.
stay in the cage, Baby Caveman. So don't come out just yet. So
Just yet.
everything he punches, he goes through and kills and destroys. All right, I will stop. So that song that song is about I have a wonderful father, but I never knew my biological father, and I found out much later in life that he got shot and murdered in 2001. So it's kind of about not knowing your father, and it's also when I was on the train. It was during a time when Russia had a lot of problems with Georgia, which used to be a territory of Russia, but then it kind of started gaining independence. And there was a guy on the train, and he was Georgian, and he was like talking about how bad things were politically, and then he's talking about politics and about social issues in Russia, and then he just leans in. He goes, "You want to know about this country and what this country is really about?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he goes, "Look outside the window," and he's like, "All that there is woods and snow, and that's it. And it's just the land," meaning that the land will take over. Like, people will rule the country, people will try to do this, but ultimately, it's this expansive desert of just woods and snow and wilderness that kind of will determine what happens in that country in the long term. So that made a pretty heavy impression on me.
Cool.
So that's how that went. So yeah.
So when did you move to Easton?
Is this the Sam Pugh show? Because last time I checked, I thought it was the Max Fisher show.
Hey, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Is this the Sam Pugh show?
All right.
I knew Jimmy would scream
Right,
loud.
right, Jimmy, right. I'm gonna take away the whys from him in a second, you know. We're gonna flip that around to something else. What was your question?
So when did you move to Easton?
I
know
moved
that you've been in the
here, I
States
bought a
for
house here like almost 3 years ago, and I came here about 8 years ago when I had the opportunity to play on this stage in this unbelievable, amazing theater. And yeah, that was about 8 years ago, and I just, you know, when I first came here, I had no idea this place existed, and I think like a lot of people who end up moving here, I was pretty taken with the whole area and all Chesapeake Bay and everything here, and yeah, so that's how that happened. That's how I found out about the town.
Who were you playing with?
I was playing under my own name, doing my own songs, but there was a band that I put together for the show because we did a live taping of it, like a live DVD thing, and actually it's on YouTube. It's Max Fisher Live at the Avalon. It's still there. So it was a bunch of my friends, and we just got the show together the day before, and then we just did the taping, and you know, I think afterwards I was like, wow, that was not a lot of rehearsal, but we managed to pull it off, and it was amazing. It was amazing. That was kind of my sort of that was definitely my introduction to this place, to this theater.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Nice, man.
So, yeah, it was good. You can check it out. I'll show it to you on YouTube.
Awesome.
We had Ron Holloway with us that night. He's the saxophone player for the Allman Brothers, so that was cool.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Anybody else in the band?
There was a guy named Matt Sigaloff, who you will eventually meet. Gentleman named Daryl played keyboards. Curtis Fye played bass, and then Mino Sanel, the percussionist for Sting and Miles Davis, played drums that night. So that was an insane that he was like, he's a French guy, and he calls. It seems like whoever's the musical director, he calls it Capitaine. Okay, Capitaine, I come down, you know?
Yeah.
And then he came down. So the way that I met him was absolutely, totally bizarre, but it was cool. Destiny. So, yeah. All right, so what else would you like to play for us?
Yeah, so, you know, I played some older stuff. I'd love to play a newer one that I've been working on.
Yeah. What's the name?
The song is called Timing is Everything. And so I wrote this probably several months ago, beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
And so I'd come home from work and was listening to a band called Pine Grove, who, phenomenal, like one of my biggest influences. I love them. I love their singer. His name is Evan. He's a great songwriter too, great lyricist. But you know, usually I just park my car, go inside. I stayed in this time for like hours. Stayed in my car and just listened to this album like 2-3 times. And I was kind of waiting for my girlfriend, Noelle, to get home. And so I started writing the song after I listened to the album several times. And, you know, I was just kind of paying attention to things happening outside. It was just a beautiful day, like sun was going down. And just wrote this and just realized that, you know, timing is everything. Like, I wouldn't have written the song if I wasn't in the car. And if I didn't just, like, pay attention and everything. And then the second verse mentions my friend Megan McDermott, who is incredible. And so
We got some Meg fans over there.
we do have some Meg fans.
Okay.
So I had texted her and was just like wanted to talk about the song and stuff. And so she was like, I actually was just told by a friend of mine that I should water some friendships today. So I was going to text you. And I was like, once again, like everything just kind of lined up. And it's like, oh, timing is everything. It's wild. So there, that's this.
Let's do it.
Sat in the car, waiting for you to get home. whispered along to the same old songs like secret code. Watch the skyline change and the colors bleed beneath the trees. Watch the shadows grow as if to reach right out to me. In timing is everything. In timing is everything, and you are everything to me. Think I could climb up, grab that plane right overhead. In a cloudless sky, everything feels connected. Reached out to a friend right before she reached out to me. Shout out Meg. Said she was told to water some friendships. Timing is everything. Yeah, and timing is everything. And timing is everything. And you are everything to me. And timing is everything. And timing is everything. And we are everything we need. We are everything. Thanks.
It's fantastic. Fantastic song.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Do you have that recorded?
No. I mean, yeah, so I wrote it at like the beginning of the pandemic, so I haven't been able to do anything quite yet, but I'm hoping to do it soon. I've actually talked to Jimmy the Wise about it.
It's good. That's good. All right. He'll think of something wise to do with the song, you know?
He's a wise guy.
Yeah. So how's 2020 been treating you?
It's been interesting, man. It's been good. So, you know, I mean, as crazy as everything is, there have definitely been some beautiful parts of it. So, found a whole new appreciation for staying home. I'm definitely an extrovert. I definitely love going out, and I love live music, like whether I'm playing or watching. And so this forced me to sit home, and the forcing has turned into me loving it. I beat some video games.
Wow. Okay.
You know, watched some movies. Got way more into cooking, which has become super therapeutic to me. But I only do it if I feel like it. So shout out Noelle for cooking all the other times.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's been interesting, you know. Work at the YMCA,
Yep.
and it was crazy. Like, so I got a promotion at my job right before everything pretty much shut down, and we opened back up, and I'm lucky to work where I do, truly. I mean, everybody's been doing their part. We've been having people wear the masks. We have been cleaning all the time. We do deep cleanings regularly, and it's just, I don't know, I'm lucky to work there because the staff is super on board with how we have to be now, and so are the members. I mean, we are very lucky to have members that are okay with wearing their mask and doing their part, which also just speaks to the community again, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Okay, all right, very
What
good.
about you? How's 2020 been for you?
Well, it's been all over the place, but I kind of, for those of you who know me well, I'm kind of like 3 steps away from one of those crazy preppers anyway, so I was like, I knew something was coming. So I, it was, I had an interesting reaction to it, but I am an introvert, so I was like,
Nothing changed.
nothing changed, like there I am at home, I'm working on a book, and working on music and working on a lot of studio stuff. So, I mean, the travel went away completely. I was doing a lot of that,
Yeah.
but that all ended very quickly. But it's given me a chance to do a bunch of stuff that I otherwise would not be able to do, because of time
Yeah.
and other commitments. And so I've been here for the overwhelming majority of the time, which, has been great. So,
Yeah, I mean, for me too, we never would have really made Baby Caveman a priority
No.
if we didn't have the time. So
I
it's
think
awesome.
Baby Caveman would have found us eventually,
Beat us over the head with the club.
I think so, but let's just say he got to it, he got to it a little bit faster. COVID sped things up.
If there's ever been a time where I have been busy and haven't responded to Max right away, he's like, I'm about to send the baby over.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen, and things will get very strange, if I do. So, in my experience
Yeah.
with songwriters and singers and artists,
Yep.
it's I like to say otherwise, but a lot of the really great ones, they definitely have been through some major challenges in life. And not that, necessarily major challenges in life and heartache and tragedy and whatever is going to make you a great artist, but I just find that many great artists really do have those experiences. So you mentioned before that your father passed from a drug overdose. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you mind talking about also experience you had with your mother?
Yeah, so my mom passed when I was about 10 years old.
Mhm.
I think I was 10. From a drug overdose. I'm super lucky to have, like I said earlier, a giant family. My aunt is also my godmother
Mhm.
and pretty much took me in like that night when it happened. And I lived with her for a couple of years. And so, only child, but definitely she has 4 kids. So I was definitely exposed to not being an only child and being the youngest and getting, roughhoused a little bit.
Yep.
Family was into
Yep.
wrestling and whatnot. But yeah, so don't have a ton of memories of my mom, which has been super weird. I'll see pictures
Mhm.
and they'll slightly come back, but it seems like it fades with time. So that's
Mm.
been kind of a perspective in some of the newer stuff I've been writing. Is like
Mhm.
I know that she was like this beautiful woman because I look just like her.
Yep. There we go.
She's
There we go.
gorgeous. Oh my God.
Yep. I like
Dropped it. 10.
that.
10
I like
out of
that.
10, baby.
I like that.
But no, it's just trying a lot of the writing is like trying to find a lot of the connection that I don't necessarily remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy how writing will just like bring back some memories and stuff.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
dig deep and find some answers.
Yep.
And also therapy, huge. I just want to give a quick shout out to all you people doing therapy out there. It's massive.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yep. That's great. That's great. In some of the long car trips that we had the last number of months, there was that one in particular we may or may not get to, but it's you started telling me some of your backstory, family story, and everything, and it's I got to tell you, it's amazing your ability to take these events in your life and turn them into something positive and be a super positive person and
Thanks.
put it in your music and your art and it really to me is the most rebellious act that a human can do.
Huh.
It is really very rock and roll to have these things happen to you and not get buried by them. It's
Yeah.
very, very impressive.
Thanks.
So I was very impressed. I'm very impressed with you as a person on that.
Thank you.
And my first guitar teacher, the famous Rodney Jones, who just retired from Juilliard and Manhattan School of Music and played for Dizzy Gillespie when he was 19 years old,
That's great.
and many other people, he said to me always, he said, just imagine that everything is being done for you and not to you. And
Yeah.
you know, even if that's hard to see, it allows you to see a way around a detour. It allows you to see a way through, which I think is something that you've done, which is pretty incredible. And
Thanks.
yeah, very, very impressive.
Yeah.
So,
I think that, even the times I've suffered with depression before, and so I think, people are like, oh, you must be really sad, like all your songs are sad. But I gotta say, like, that is just a way to get past,
Yeah.
the emotion.
Yeah.
And that's how I can be a happy person, is because I have this outlet where I can put all this,
Yeah.
this emotion and this side of me and this information.
yeah, which is incredible. So amazing. What other song do you want to play?
Ooh, let's see. So on that note, I played the sad song about losing my parents and losing my dad. So this is a song called Beautiful Thing, which is pretty much the opposite of that song. So it's really looking at, the positive side and how you can still feel people after they're gone. How like little things like, things that they like to do or memories that you have, like activities you used to do together, you'll always feel them in some way. It's called Beautiful Thing.
I'm sorry, Beautiful what?
Beautiful Thing.
Okay.
You know any jokes?
I mean, I'm no PG ones, unfortunately. Or PG-13 for that matter.
Cool. This is called Beautiful Thing.
All right, let's do it.
You're the wind, you're the breeze I'm feeling. Little kiss that has so much meaning. Speak soft, I barely hear ya, but I hear ya. Look for all little signs, the bitter warmth on the coldest nights. Look for all little things when I still feel ya. It's a beautiful thing. You're the light that is always shining. When I burn out, I see your brightness. And I know you don't want me to fade away, so you stay. Look for all little signs, the bitter warmth, the coldest nights. Look for all little things when I still feel ya. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So where will I find you next? So what can I expect? Where will I find you next? What can I expect? coldest nights. I look for all those little things, and I still feel, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I look for all the little signs, the bitter warmth, coldest nights. I look for all the little things when I still feel, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Thanks, guys.
It's another one.
Is that
You good? You
that's
good?
me?
You good?
Thanks, man.
So what's next for Sam?
What's next for Sam? Oh man, hopefully.
I don't mean like dinner tonight. I mean like in general. You know, next few months, year.
Yeah, I mean, biggest thing for me is gonna be, you know, I really want to put this Baby Caveman out, man, and then I have some Heartside stuff. We have some Heartside stuff that I definitely want to put out as well. I'm super excited to do all that. What's next for Maximus Fisher?
Oh, what is next? I have no idea. I'm Baby Caveman writing this book, and you know, just really taking it one day at a time. You know, 2020 vision. So, you know, that's kind of about it. Hopefully, no more long car trips like the ones that we've had.
Oh my gosh,
You know,
no more smoking cigars and listening to Biggie Smalls.
that happens. That could happen. That happened. You know, yeah.
That's a great story for another time.
Well, then, yeah, it's, you know, if traffic gets real bad, things can get very funky in the car with us. So, well, listen, I want to wish you all the best in your endeavors, in your
You too,
life,
man.
in your music. And thank you for coming here. Thank you for being guest 0 on the Max Fisher Show, episode number 1.
Oh man, it's
You
my
know?
pleasure.
And thank you to the Avalon for hosting this and allowing us to do this here. And to anyone who is listening, please do what you can to support this theater, support the live arts, you know, really especially during 2020 for all the reasons that we know. Thank you to the staff here. And
Truly,
yeah.
this has
Thank
been a great experience.
Yeah, and the sound is fantastic as always. And best to everybody. And thanks for the audience coming out here. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.